Okay, here we are. You've actually managed to log into the Australian Red Cross Learning Platform. You're now looking at the welcome page. If you haven't been able to get this far, do look at the screencasts. It takes 5 minutes. You will see step by step exactly what you need to do to set up your account, recover your password, whatever it is you need to do, depending on when you join the Australian Red Cross. So here we are. What can we do in this new learning platform? So first of all, going to show you the home menu, which basically has the welcome page. This is what we're looking at now. Learn has view your learning passport and browse for learning opportunities. So here you will be able to look at two things. Let's actually do that. View your learning passport shows you what trainings you've completed or what trainings are in progress. It can also include your profile picture and some other personal things related to your accounts. Can show a training record. We do not actually use certifications, but they're here should we decide to do that someday. You can also see your completed trainings and your archive trainings. As you see, this is a blank account. I'm just an Australian from Australia. So second is browse for learning opportunities, and this gives you some options so you can actually look through and see what the course offerings are, say in the essentials. And you can see here that there's a Red Cross and Red Crescent orientation course. There's a security course. Click on the back button to navigate. You can see if there are upcoming sessions or trainings organized, and you could see them in this calendar. And here are some suggested trainings: gender equality, H2P, humanitarian pandemic preparedness, introduction to cash transfer programming. Obviously, some of the global thematic areas are in the suggested trainings here. My team you will not be using unless you are managing people using the learning platform, which is probably not the case at this point. So let's go back home and go through this welcome page. So here we'll see your assigned trainings, online training started, inbox. Now there's a special big in red tutorials and news link that will take you to the Learning Network blog, where your Australian Red Cross Learning and Development team is posting news, information, and tutorials about the platform. So make sure you click there. This link will take you away from the platform, so I'm not going to go there now. Here are some amazing volunteers of the Australian Red Cross and a brief message just to make sure you know where you are. Now, suggested trainings, as you can see, we have Strategy 2020 and a couple of others. You can also browse for training here. So you'll see there's many different ways to get to the same place in the learning platform. So the browse for training that you see here is the same as browse for learning opportunities that we saw a bit earlier. You see, browse for training right here. Now let me go back home. What we actually want to do is to sign up to enroll in the Strategy 2020 course. Now I could do it the easy way, which is just to click on Strategy 2020 for the in the suggested trainings, but just for fun, let's go to the search box. And this is actually the quickest way to find most trainings on the learning platform, as long as you know at least one of the words that is part of the training title. Let's try that. If we type strategy, then hit the magnifying glass. And here we go. We have in the search results, we have Strategy 2020. Now there's a couple of tricks and pitfalls that you have to avoid when actually enrolling for a course. So you first click on Strategy 2020. What happens? You get this pop-up window, which gives you some information about the course, a description, a price, it's free, and the available languages. It's available in English. It's actually also available in Spanish and French. So here, what you want to do is to request the course. Now, with Strategy 2020, requesting the course is enough. With some courses, you might need to get your manager's approval or to talk to the learning and development team, but you will know what to do once you click request. In this case, it's very simple. We've just enrolled for the course. That was a simple. Requesting it is as good as enrolling because it's free, because there are no requirements for approval from a manager, from anybody else. And here we are. So we now have in the training record, which was previously blank, here we have our first title, Strategy 2020. Now, how do you actually start the course? You might think, oh, I'll click on the Strategy 2020 link here. But this actually gives you additional information, training details. So this will tell you what type of training, how long it will take, gives you that brief description we saw earlier, tells you that you are registered that you viewed it 0 hours and 0 minutes and have made 0% progress. That's not very encouraging at this point, but don't worry. There is an issue where most of the courses are either 0% progress or 100% progress once you've actually completed the course. But this does not count against you in any way. Now let's go back and look at some of the other options. So this all again gives you some of the same information. It's an online course. There is no due date in this case. There may be if a manager of the learning and development team assigns you a course. And I am registered for it, so ready to launch it. Here we go. Now, this is the tricky part. You see this little text for the course to launch. Make sure that your pop-up, your web browser pop-up blocker is disabled. So in most cases, we want to enable things to get things to work. In this case, we want to disable something that blocks pop-up windows for appearing. Why is this? Because in this case, this is not a pop-up ad or something bad that you want to open as a pop-up. It's the actual course. It's going to need to open up a separate window so you can view it and use it. So there are some instructions here on how to disable blockers in various browsers. So unfortunately what you have to do is you have to select it, then copy it, and you can go to that other page and see what is there, how to see instructions on how to disable common pop-up blockers, or ask your IT team. That's really outside the scope of this tutorial, but once you've done that, then you can go, you basically want to agree that, and this now loads the title, meaning loading the course. You'll see there's a separate window that opened up here. And now the Strategy 2020 course is loading. So first of all, welcome message. Welcome to this course. We'll give you an overview of the strategy. It tells you what you're going to learn, obviously. Now, this is one of the kinds of buttons, and each course will have a slightly different interface, but it's very easy to get used to. You want to continue here, instructions about hearing or using the audio. And here is basically your table of contents for the course. You can take...
We live in an ever-changing world, with changes happening faster and faster.
You can see that there are
Our challenge is the IFRC.
The audio. There are visual cues here, when something needs to start. There are left and right directional arrows here. There is always, you can always go back to the main menu here, and this gives you some feedback on your progress. So let's go back home to the menu. So you will want to work your way through each of these. Now this is nice because it shows you I actually made my way through most of the introduction just by clicking through those first two screens. Now this is a slightly longer section, it takes 10 minutes, another 10 minutes here, and another 10 minutes for the quiz. So I can jump right to the quiz. The following are questions about the module you just viewed. Select next to continue. Up here you have, this gives you clear sort of navigation location information so you know where you are in the course. This is a place where you're going to test your knowledge. Obviously, you do not want to jump there unless you already have extensive in-depth knowledge of Strategy 2020. The course is quick. It does link to Strategy 2020 if you want to go for more depth. But once you are done, and this will be the last step in this tutorial, make sure you use this X to record the fact that you are exiting the course. You can exit and resume again. But you want to make sure you use that X, otherwise the learning platform, the course may not remember that was where you were when you left off. So basically that's it. I've shown you how to enroll in a course, how to launch it, how to disable your pop-up blocker, even though you might need specific instructions from your IT team. And you're ready to basically do the same thing with not just with Strategy 2020, but with any of the learning opportunities on the platform. And as you can see here, I still have no assigned training, but I now have started Strategy 2020, and there's actually a button here so I can launch it directly. I hope that's helpful. If you have any questions, contact your local learning and development team person.